Hey everybody, I'm Jim Towns. I'm the co-founder of the Borgo Horror Podcast. I'm also the co-host along with my regular co-host, Livia Marino, and a revolving menagerie of very talented, very entertaining, and very knowledgeable co-hosts. I did a post last week asking if any of our followers had any questions about the Borgo Horror Podcast, how it came to be, or how we do what we do, and a few good questions came back, and I'm going to read them right now. Okay, one of our followers, Paul, asked, I love your podcast and would love for you to do another one on your favorite TV show, The Incredible Hulk. Please consider it. If you've listened to the podcast, you've probably heard me go on and on about the 1970s to 80s TV show, The Incredible Hulk, starring Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. It's the thing I grew up on. It was a sort of integral part along with Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein and a lot of these other things that kind of helped make me into the guy I am now, the horror filmmaker I am now, what have you. I actually own the box set on Blu-ray. I love it. Every time I'm like kind of down or a little bit like that, I'll pop one of these episodes in and suddenly I'm 6 years old again and I'm enjoying my favorite TV show on 8 o'clock at night, I think on Mondays or Wednesdays. I can't remember when it was. The question is, what episode would I do? I would do the Antawalk Horror. It was season 2, I think episode 2 or 3 of the series from 1978. It co-starred William Lucking. It's about a small mountain town that David Banner stays in, and to kind of get the town's falling apart and to kind of get back on the map, this local shopkeeper decides to dress up as this kind of Bigfoot type character. Bigfoot was also a big deal for me when I was little, and tries to scare up a lot of controversy and stuff. But what he does scare up is not only Jack McGee, the reporter who's after the Incredible Hulk, but also like a professional hunter who goes after him. He is also kind of a jerk, and he abuses David Banner all the time because he's jealous of David's connection with his daughter, who he kind of neglects a little bit. And so yeah, that's the episode I would do. I remember being so excited when that would come on when I was little. I would definitely do that episode. That's a great one. A possible runner-up, 747 from the first season. It's where the Incredible Hulk has to land a plane. I'm not kidding. He's in the cockpit with his big bare green feet trying to shove the pedals because the hydraulics went out and he needs to be super strong to be able to stop the plane. I'm not kidding. The Incredible Hulk lands an airplane. It's amazing. Okay, our friend Edward Oles said, hi, love the podcast since day one and also the expanded universe you are now getting into. Guys, we are talking about Age of Monsters. We've done a lot of 50s sci-fi stuff. We just did Tarantula. We just did The Thing from Another World, all sorts of great 50s horror movies like that. So keep in touch. You guys are beginning to cost me money as I keep buying more films. Join the club. I haven't seen, but your reviews are brilliant and make me want to see them. Thank you very much, Edward. It means a lot to us. This is why we do this, is because we love these things and we have this great shared community with everyone else who loves these things. On to his question. If you could own any one prop from any of the Universal films, what would it be and why? This is just a big question. This is a hard question to answer. I thought about this. I think there's some obvious answers like Lugosi's Dracula cape, say, the pentagram walking stick from the Wolfman, possibly like one of the Kong armatures. I mean, but these are things like people like Peter Jackson own, who are multi-millionaires. It'd be great to have them, but they also are also kind of, I don't want to say typical, they're just kind of obvious. So I came up with a couple less obvious answers of things I would love to own. Starting with the painting of Henry Frankenstein in Son of Frankenstein, the fossilized hand that they study in The Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Scroll of Thoth from The Mummy would be amazing to have. Anything made by Kenneth Strickfaden, right? Anything. It'd be amazing. Just one of those little Tesla coils, whatever. It'd be awesome. Sparky spark. Any of the screen versions of The Secrets of Life or Death, the book by Henry Frankenstein that gets passed down throughout Bride to Son to Ghost to House, what have you. I think it'd be amazing to have just any of those iterations of those things. That'd be incredible. I doubt they exist. I was thinking about King Kong and Godzilla, any of the little train cars, because in both those movies he derails like an elevated train, and Godzilla destroys like a subway type train too. It'd be great to have one of those little model cars. I don't know if they use just normal model cars, if they hand built from scratch fake little cars for the monsters to destroy. It'd be fascinating to know. Another one, those cool wraparound glasses that the Invisible Man wears, right? I think I talked about that in our episode, which we did way, way, way back in, I think, 2021. I'm surprised they don't sell like replica versions of those. Someone should get on that at Universal. Come on. I mean, those would be great. But I think the one thing I think I would swear to love would be the Raven statue from the Raven that Lugosi, holds and touches and stuff in the movie. I think that'd be the coolest thing to have. It's like the Universal Monsters version of the Maltese Falcon. I think it'd be the coolest thing. Okay, and finally, one of our longest term, biggest fans, Janet Carlson, reached out to me today, and I want to read her question. I think it's a really good one. Janet writes, I would ask you to talk about how one of your podcasts come together from the selection of a movie, choice of co-host, meeting prior to recording, editing, how long it takes before releasing in public, and how the artwork is produced. Thanks, Janet. It's a great question. It's a real process, and it's something we've kind of honed over the last 3 or 4 years making the show. What'll normally happen at the start of this is I have a master list of films that we have covered and films that we would like to cover in the future, and it's broken down by year. And I have this list that goes all the way through 2026 to the end of the year, because there's so many great films to talk about. What I'll normally do is when I co-host with somebody, be it Livio, be it David Ullman, Chris Salen, I'll usually follow up, when afterwards with an email or a text or a message and say like, hey, I've got a couple of things I was thinking of you for. I really like to find a film that the co-host really responds to and is really invested into, because the thing you don't want this to be is like work, because we're not getting paid for this thing. You want it to be fun. So you want someone to be really into the movie they're reviewing, right? Because it's going to make for a better show for everybody. So that's the plan. So I'll usually throw out a couple things. We have weird specialties. David Ullman has kind of become our RKO Val Luden guy for one reason or another. Livio obviously loves Lon Chaney Jr., so there's no way I'm doing a episode on something to Lon Chaney Jr. and not have Livio on it, because that would be awful. That'd be disrespectful to that guy, because he's so knowledgeable and he's so passionate about him. Normally they'll get back to me and say, hey, The Devil Commands, or hey, I'll do the Ghost Ship with the Val Luden one or something. That'd be cool. So we make that kind of plan. Sometimes we're recording pretty far in advance for like later release in the year. Sometimes we're recording just like the same week, and it's just we're all busy. We all have work. I do a lot of film work and stuff, and sometimes I get less ahead of the podcast than others, and sometimes we don't always release the episodes on time, but that's the kind of the plan. Each of us goes and does our research. We watch the film. I watch the film and I just make copious notes referencing like the actors and everything like that, because I'm 50 and my mind just does not contain this much information anymore. So I have to have reference, obviously. Then we schedule a time to do the recording. Now, the way we record is we both co-hosts record separately. So I record here in the podcast. We do it over like a Facebook call or an Instagram call. I'll record my audio. Livio, per se, will record his audio separately in Kansas City, where he's doing it. Now, there's a time difference between this. We have to figure this out, make sure it's a time for both of us that's convenient. We each do that, and then, one of us, I will send my audio to him, someone will send their audio to me, and we combine them, we mix them like you do different tracks when you record a band. You record the drums, and you record the guitar, and what have you, and then you mix it all together, and we get the levels right. We use a service that hosts our podcast on the platform and also disseminates it to all the different podcast apps like Spotify and iTunes and everything. We have our intro and outro by Kat Herron's kind of set in there, so we just upload the thing, and it obviously attaches both of those things to it, and it attaches any commercials that we might be getting from our sponsors, which help a little bit to defray the cost of the hosting. Having done that, I've pre-done most of the graphics for the show. I do all the graphics that you see for the episode avatars. I like to do something a little different. I was inspired by the little 8mm square artwork on the little film strips we used to get for the films, which was before home video, before anything like that. And so I have kind of a zone and colors and stuff that are locked in, and then I just try to do something interesting that people haven't seen for the covers for each of those movies. So we upload that at the same time, and then that becomes the avatar for the episode, and the episode goes out. Sometimes within 24 hours it goes live. Sometimes we have a couple that are slated to, we can backdate it, and it doesn't come out for a little while, and that's how we do it. It's really about finding co-hosts that are, like I've said, interesting and knowledgeable about the movies, but are also entertaining to listen to, because the episodes are an hour and a half to sometimes 3 hours long, depending on the movie. We sometimes do 2-part episodes. That's a lot of time to be listening to somebody talk. I'm amazed that people enjoy listening to us talk so much, but I think it's about I think we're passionate about these movies. I think we have a lot of fun on the show too. I think we don't mind poking a little fun at some of the movies while maintaining our absolute deep level of respect for them. That never goes away, and that's something that is absolutely like part and parcel to the Borgo Pass Horror Podcast. Janet, thanks so much for that question. That was really good. And it was fun to explain to everybody how we make the show. Everybody, we're up for a Rondo Award this year. Please, if you get a chance, go and vote for us. We would love it to win Best Podcast for the Rondos this year. You can go to this email that'll be right here. And all you have to do is email that email and say, I vote for Borgo Pass Horror Podcast for Best Podcast of 2020, or this year. Or you can go to this website and look at all the nominees and vote for everybody in all the other different categories too. Some of Borgo Pass's friends are in a bunch of the other categories nominated. So please check everybody out and please vote, because it really does help everybody as we're trying to create all this wonderful classic horror content for you guys. Everybody, I'm Jim Towns. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time on the Borgo Pass.